Welcome, everyone. This is the Saturday edition of the NCAA Basketball Daily Dime Show, powered by the Predictive Playbook and presented to you by SportsMemo TV. And as usual, I have you more than covered. I'm your host, John Ryan, of course, and I'm joined by Jesse Schule and Dr. Chuck. And we did the college football panel show. Now that college football is ending on Monday night, we're going to be doing these shows several times a week, starting right now. So without further ado, gentlemen, let's get right to it. First game we're going to look at is one that Jesse identified, and it's the Iowa State Cyclones taking on the Oklahoma Sooners. What a matchup this is. The Sooners are 11-3. Iowa State is 13-1. They're 9-5 against the number. Oklahoma, the market's done well. They're 7-7 on the season against the spread. Conflicting styles of play, though, based on the totals. Oklahoma is 9-5 to the over, while the Iowa State Cyclones are 9-5 to the under. Oklahoma is a 6-point favorite at home today. The over/under is pretty low, 128.5 points. Where do you see the best bet, Jesse?
Well, John, I had a play on Iowa State in their last game against Texas Tech, and if you saw that game, if you paid any money to watch that game, you probably want your money back because it was pretty ugly. Iowa State couldn't get anything going offensively, nor could Texas Tech, and apparently the bookmakers must have saw that too because they've come with low total and they're not paying a lot of respect to Iowa State here, despite their superior record, but. Man, I watched that game and they were impressive on defense, Iowa State, not so much on offense. They do come in ranking 219th in scoring. They only shot 30.6% from the field in that 51-47 win over Texas Tech. And Oklahoma, they're not known for their defense, but they can play a solid defensive game. They're only allowing 61.8 points per game. And the Cyclones are they've gone under in 11 of their last 15 following a win. And I think if any team scores 130 points here, they're going to win this game easily. So I'm going to take a bet on under the total.
Yeah, that makes sense to me, Jesse. Oklahoma's surprising style of play. We're used to their football team is just run and gun, but they're 310th out of 357 Division One basketball programs in field goals attempted per game, averaging just 55. Iowa State's 256 in that category, 56.7. So I'm with you on that one. I don't think they get close to even 120. First team to 60.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't
Uh,
mean one team score 130,
Yeah,
but yeah, if
right.
one team scores 65, they'll
good chance
probably
to lose.
take it down.
Yep. I knew what you were saying. So let's move on to Chuck's first pick of the day of his two Colorado State Rams. Mountain West Conference going up against their conference rival, San Diego State, the Aztecs. The Hayes Arena is location 4 o'clock this afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. Saturday, January 8th. Colorado undefeated, 11-0, 6-4 against the spread. Going up against the Aztecs, who are 9-3 and an even 6-6 against the spread. Over under 9-3 to the under for the Aztec games, 6-4 under for Colorado State. Total of 135.5. San Diego State a skinny 2-point home favorite. Where's the best bet, Chuck?
Well, you mentioned it. Just talking about that, we'll make this quick. It's a pretty simple play. This lit up on my analytics here. This is the home team, and in this East Coast dominated world, as Jesse can attest to, there's 3 undefeated teams. Everybody can probably rattle off Baylor and USC, even though USC is more widely popular across the country. The third team that's undefeated still in this nation is Colorado State, and I don't think people know that. I think when people think of the Mountain West, they think of the team they're playing today. And I think that they're still being underrated. Getting 3 points at home, I think this line is already deteriorating. So depending upon what time you get this in, get the best you can. I'd get that 3, but I would play it down to pick them. I think Colorado State wins this game. Nico Medved's team is for real. We talked about this on the show with John last time, not even picking Colorado State, just excited about them going forward. The metrics show they have the number 1 offensive efficiency and the number 1 effective field goal percentage in the country. They have 5 guys shooting north of 40% from deep. This team is thoroughly good. They play amazing offense. They also slow everyone down on defense. Their efficiency doesn't look perfect, but they make the opponent play at the 350th fast or tempo in the league, in the nation. San Diego State is even slower. Both teams play defense all 30 seconds. And I just can't imagine that, the fans are going to be energized. San Diego State, I feel like, is still a little bit overrated in all defense and not a very good shooting team. Colorado State has a 15% advantage in effective field goal rate in this game. And you're getting 3 points on the undefeated team at home. I think people are still going to think they don't buy it and want to get that short line they see on a team they know, more recently in tournaments and things like that, Kawhi Leonard, et cetera. And I think they're on the wrong side, and I'd even maybe sprinkle the money line.
And I agree with you, Chuck. Looking at some of the stats here too, you mentioned 3-point field goal percentage. You're spot on. What I like even more is that they rank 216th in attempts in 3-point land, but percentage, they're number 3 in the nation at 42%. So they don't take many, but they make 42%, and that's big.
Deshaun Thomas, I think, is shooting 60% from deep.
That's impressive. And he's coming off a game playing only 12 minutes, I believe, went with one shot, actually. But he's a specialist.
He is.
Definitely. Good stuff, Dr. Chuck. Let's move back over to Jesse here for his second of 2 picks. And this is another Big 12 matchup that I definitely like. Kansas Jayhawks. 12-1 on the season, 7-5-1 push against the spread, 9-4 on the over. They're 2-0 on the road, 12-1 as a favorite. Red Raiders are 10-3 on the season, 7-6 against the number, 5-8 to the under. In other words, 8-5 under. As a home team, they're 8-0. Underdog, they're 1-2. Line here, Texas Tech plus 4.5 as a home underdog, ranked number 25 in the nation. Kansas, number 6, total 138.5. Take it away, Jesse, and tell us where your best bet is in this matchup.
Well, I mentioned that Iowa State Texas Tech game and how I didn't feel that it inspired much confidence in the Iowa State offense moving forward. Well, even less so for Texas Tech. They shot 38.8% from the field, 3 of 17 from 3-point range, 40% from free throws, and now they're at home against Kansas, and this is a tough opponent at the best of times, but they really missed their leading scorer, Terrence Shannon, against Iowa State. He's still on the injury report with a bad back, so even if he does manage to make an appearance, you wouldn't expect him to be at 100%. And there's really nothing wrong with Kansas, is there? They've won 8 straight. They're 4-0 in their last 4 head-to-head against Texas Tech. 2 of those wins came at Texas Tech, and the Red Raiders are 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 as a home dog. And given their current situation with all the injuries and the way they're playing, this looks like a mismatch of epic proportions.
Yeah, I agree with you here again. I'm trying to find questions to ask, concerns, but the way you guys break it down, it's pretty obvious. I'll just add that Jayhawks are 5-0 in their last 5 games as a favorite, up to and including 7 points. And when they're on the road as a favorite of 6.5 to 12 points, they are 7-1-1. So again, just adding more fuel to the fire of betting the Kansas Jayhawks. Good stuff. Let's move to Dr. Chuck's pick, his second of 2. This is a 8 o'clock start at Haas Pavilion. This is California Golden Bears hosting the UCLA Bruins. Bruins are 9-1, even 5-5 against the spread. The over/under is 5-5. Away, they're 2-0. Favorite, they're 9-0. California Golden Bears 9-6 on the season, 11-4 against the spread though. 8-7 to the over. When at home, 9-2 is an underdog. 0-5. Cal is an underdog of 8 points against this elite team from UCLA. Take it away, Chuck, and tell us where the bet is.
Well, I'm so tempted in football season. I tended to do this a little too often, and I really just am ecstatic about Jesse's pick. So I don't know if John is on it. I'm on it. We were discussing before we did the show that the lines weren't out yet. What's it going to be? And I said, Ken Pom looks like it's going to make it -3. And Jesse said, well, that maybe that's like a 401k bet there, baby. But so even more so, one more point on that game is that Iowa State is still, I'm impressed with Iowa State. They're looking amazing. They're from worst to first type team, but they're still the same basic team. And so you're going to expect those situations. That's not Kansas. And so for it to be the same line is shocking. And yes, it didn't land. Jesse got the win, I got the loss, and it didn't land right. But it's the same line. That's ridiculous. So anyway, to UCLA and Cal, I like the under in this game. It's 134 now. I think it's going to drop. Cal's on a tough stretch here. They just took on USC at home. The total landed exactly at this 134. They're like a gnat that just wouldn't go away. USC had them down double digits. I watched the game, I feel like 5 separate times. And Tisevich and Shepard just continue to just like gnaw at them. And I just don't think this is a good spot. I think they gave it all in that game. I think they really had the USC game circled as a spot they could get after. UCLA shook off the rust against Long Beach State, but also lost Hack as it looks like. I can't imagine that he's playing tonight. And I think that even lends further to the under here. UCLA is I think, would you say -9 at this point, chalk. And so we're talking Cal would have to score close to the same amount of points to get this over. And I think this is a good play all the way down to 131, 130. I think this cruises under, and UCLA really stamps down on, similar to what they did against Long Beach State, but I think there's a lot less scoring. Mark Fox's defense is still up for the task no matter who they're playing. And with one less scorer for the Bruins, I think this is a pretty solid, 70 to 56 type final.
I like it a lot, Chuck. Great breakdown, and let's move on to the final pick of the show. I saved myself for last. That doesn't mean it's the best pick, but it is the last pick of the show of our 5 games. I like the Auburn Tigers here quite a bit. I think this is actually a team I'm starting to look at for futures bets for the NCAA tournament. They seem to have just about everything they need in terms of the way the team is made up. And the Auburn Tigers are 13-1, 10-4 against the spread. They're 7-7 on the over/under, 7-0 at home, 13-0 as a favorite. Money line 9-4 for Florida. Against the spread, they're 7-6 and even 6-6 with one push. And obviously, I don't think there's any play on the total, but I would have a lean to the over because I think Auburn here, despite their normal style play, is going to really ramp it up in this game. They do play somewhat fast, 21st in the nation field goals attempted per game at 64.4. They're scoring 80 points a game, and that's going up against a Florida team that is not your typical Florida team this year, 73.7 points per game, ranking 150th. They're more of a defensive-oriented team, but I don't see how that defense, although they have played well at times, I don't see them being able to hold up for an entire 40 minutes of NCAA basketball action against the Auburn Tigers. There is a system here that I have supporting Auburn. It's hit 64% winners over the last 5 seasons on a 107-62 record over the last 5 seasons. So if you guys and gals out there like plenty of action, this is the system for you. And it's pretty simple. You're going to bet on home teams as a favorite, including pick'em, in a game involving 2 solid teams that are outscoring their opponents by 8 or more points per game, and after 3 straight double-digit wins. And Auburn is coming off more than 3 double-digit wins. So this all points to Auburn in this matchup. You guys with me?
I'm with you, John. I'm with you.
All right. Excellent. So that'll conclude our show of 5 best bets. And we want to thank you for watching the NCAA Triple Double Show. And do yourself a favor, take a moment to subscribe. You're not making us any better, or there's no more money coming in from YouTube because you do a like or a subscribe. It's for your own benefit, so you don't miss a show. So take the time to do that, hammer the bell. And most of all, have a great weekend in the sports betting markets. And we'll look forward to seeing you again on Monday with another edition of the NCAA Triple Double Show. And until then, remember, always bet with your head and never over it, and may all the wins be yours.
Pick Your Team program at both wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com. Even more exciting, until Sunday, January 16th at midnight, you can save 15% off your Pick Your Team using coupon code PYT15 when checking out. Dave Koken, Marco D'Angelo, and Ralph Michaels, John Ryan, Joseph D'Amico, and Rocket Man. The combinations are endless, and you can choose up to 5 handicappers. You start saving once you choose any 2 handicappers of your choice, and you can pay as little as under $6 per handicapper. Who will make your dream lineup? Just go to Wager Talk or Sports Memo, click Pick Your Team, and personally hand select your handicapping roster. Don't forget, coupon code PYT15 will expire January 16th, so make sure to get your 15% discount.